I'm David Price for Construction News. Until 2.5 weeks ago, Carillion was the second largest contractor in the UK, employing more than 20,000 people across the country, as well as thousands more abroad. It's a global enterprise, but it's here in Wolverhampton, where it had its headquarters and its nerve centre. Earlier, we spoke to Black Country Chamber of Commerce Chief Executive Corin Crane to find out what Carillion's collapse has meant for subcontractors and suppliers around the area.
Well, Carillion's collapse means an awful lot for Wolverhampton and the Black Country. They're a business whose history goes back over 100 years into the local economy. People know who they are, lots of people work for them, our head office is based there, and globally 40-odd thousand people work for them, all come about that work, all comes through the Wolverhampton office. So yeah, it's a real blow for the local economy, but more so for those supply chain businesses that are going to be working with them. One of the things that's well versed now is that they have a 120-day payment system. So often a business might have completed work for them like 120 days ago, and they've been waiting very patiently for the money to come through. And that looks very unlikely that full payment will come through now. Now that has an implication in two ways. For their cash flow, they might have to buy materials for their next job, and they might have to have people on board to do that job. So not only they lost payment from the last job, it's very unlikely they'll have resources in place now to do their next job. So virtually all the calls we've taken so far have been around cash flow. You know, we hope long term it won't have a huge impact on the local economy, but it's just about how we support construction businesses, how we begin to mend those things that are broken in the system, because we know really that for smaller businesses, they're always at the butt end of these decision-making processes, and they're the ones whose voices are least loudly heard. And if anything else is learnt out of this, we've got to get the support right for those small businesses, so that during these times they aren't the last people to get paid, they aren't the last people to get considered, that we actually put them forefront of these discussions.
We also spoke to Councillor John Reynolds to find out how the city is reacting to Carillion's collapse.
Carillion is a really important employer in Wolverhampton. There's over 400 good quality, well-paid jobs. So obviously one of the council's priorities is to work hard with Carillion to make sure we can keep as many of those headquarters jobs in Wolverhampton as we possibly can. We're in very regular contact with Carillion and they're obviously working with us as closely as they can. There's obviously though as well limits on the information they can give us at the moment. They're uncertain on the situation as what's going to happen, but we're bearing with them and working as closely as possible. One thing that we've been urging local businesses to do who are working with businesses who are in difficulty because of the collapse is to try and improve their payment terms. So we've heard of a local business that would normally spend 30 days paying from invoice and they're now paying in 15 days. They're speeding it up to try and help businesses that have been affected, and we've urged local businesses and obviously people like the council and the university are trying to do the same. When we realise that people have been dealing with Carillion and are in financial difficulties, we're trying to play them as quickly as we possibly can. It is very sad indeed that a business like this that's been long established as Tarmac and now Carillion have got their roots in Wolverhampton. It was something that we were looking forward to carrying on for many, many, many years indeed. It is a blow. The city will recover from it. We will work harder to protect as many of those 400 jobs, and those people are generally well paid, well skilled, so we think we should be able to help them get jobs locally here in Wolverhampton to make sure we can protect the industrial base and the business base that we need to be a growing city.
We also went out onto the streets of Wolverhampton to find out what locals think about Carillion's collapse.
Personally, you know, I think they ought to be treated like criminals.
Because it's been going so long. I mean,
well, it's the effect it's obviously going to have on the town again, isn't it? Yet again.
I think it's really bad news for Wolverhampton. It's 400 jobs at the head office just down the road there. Plus it's bad news for the country because there's so many projects ongoing that have come to a grinding halt, and infrastructure that the country needs that's just not getting worked on, and I think the whole thing is a disaster.
The repercussions of Carillion's collapse will be felt across the country for months and possibly years to come, with delayed projects, struggling businesses and struggling workers. But it's here in Wolverhampton, which has been a home to large contractors for more than a century, where Carillion's collapse will be remembered the longest.